YouTube, it's Brian Phillips again with the garbage bag. We're gonna open this thing up. I've been doing a lot of other brands, but this is gonna be fantastic. I already know if it's what I think it is, it's gonna be super awesome. I'm super excited. And it is a helicopter. All right, here we go, guys. Look at this. It is a helicopter, and that's the Eachine E160, ready to fly. As you can see, it's for ages 14 plus. That seems extremely arbitrary. We've got our radio here, which looks like they've switched the design a little bit, which is fine with me. It's a dual brushless. Whoa. They have a brushless tail rotor. That's awesome. Okay, so we're gonna see how this goes. Here we go. We're gonna open this up. Don't even need to cut it. So this is Eachine packaging, guys. I'm used to the XK packaging. Comes with two manuals, real similar to the XK. Looks like it's 350 millimeters for the blades, and then 345 millimeters long. It looks like a pretty decent manual so far. You don't get into
What's that one?
This one is probably just the radio setup. Yep. So that's the T6 instruction manual. So it reminds me of the way XK was doing it. So there's going to be 3 boxes here. One's going to be for the helicopter, and then one's going to be for the accessories. Okay. Oh yeah. Nice packaging. It's kind of weird. It's plastic, but it seems to hold together well. It's a pretty decent sized helicopter. It's a lot bigger than the other ones I've got. I'm actually really excited because it's brushless motors front and back. Look at that little brushless motor. That's awesome. Okay, so we've got obviously the brushless motor up front, which is right here. Nice thick body on this one. It should be pretty good. Oh, you can see the brushless motor really good there. It's a 1312 6500 kV. It's got the 3 little servos here, which if I'm, oh my goodness, they are Metal Gear, it looks like, at least the metal on the output shaft. See, metal. All 3 of them look like they're metal. That's awesome, which reminds me, I actually got some sunglasses, and I wanted to talk about these because these were bang good product. And I just mentioned them in passing. These things change color or darkness based on how bright it is, which is really nice. And I've not actually seen these change color, but they're supposed to be in the same line. I'm not sure exactly how that works. I call these happy glasses because you wear these if you want, like if it's cloudy and it makes you feel happy. But these are the ones I've been using and they've been working really good. They kind of start out dark and they get like less dark. And I was really nervous to see if they were gonna make it from China without damage. And sure enough, they did. And I was sort of kicking myself now for not having an unboxing on this, but they were folded with one of the arms was wrapped in foam real thick, and then they had this in a sleeve. And so they were protected. Because when I go to the store, I can never find glasses that don't have scratches all over them. Just tell people, camera crew.
Every time.
Every
Literally.
single time. And it's, I'm just going to get like the crappy $15 pair that you can get. Well, these are a lot cheaper. And I think they're like less than 10 bucks. And they've been working really nice. And they're big enough to cover my face, which is something that I can't ever find either in the El Cheapo brand.
Brian's not picky about sunglasses at all.
I'm very picky about sunglasses. So anyway, so getting back to the helicopter, everything is really heavy duty up here. So I'm excited. Oh, that thing's loose. We should probably address that. See, we got a screw that's loose. See? Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness. And then the battery looks like it's got the ECXT30. It's really small. 700 milliamp hour. Obviously, this is going to be a 2S. You can tell from the connector there. I made myself a charger adapter for that, but I'm guessing in one of these boxes, we're probably going to have a charger. So guys, with helicopters, as you know from past experience, my skill level on helicopters is significantly less than on airplanes, but I still think they're really cool. And yes, I can fly them. I have people ask me this all the time. I'm a heli pilot. Can I fly fixed wing? Yes, you can, but you just have to remember that you need room to do it. Whereas with the helicopter, you can fly it in your house if you want. Okay, so this is a transmitter box. Okay, they've got plastic around the back, surprisingly well. Oh, let's look at these. These are my favorite.
Garbage.
My favorite ones here. So we'll put those off to the side. Looks like the last Eachine transmitter we got. It's nice. Oh, we just got saved by this the other day. When you get a new heli or a new airplane or whatever,
Oh, yeah.
mark the back right away so you don't forget what they go to. They are somewhat interchangeable, but they're not all interchangeable. So I'm just gonna write this on here right now. This is the, what is this one? This is the Eachine E160, so the E160 heli. Now, why do you do that? Because when you get about 30 of these things, you're gonna be wondering which one's which because they all look really similar. And you don't wanna be floundering around trying to find that. Surprisingly, that plastic, there's like 0 damage on it. I mean, it's weird.
Yeah.
Sometimes these things that come from Banggood, you know, they make it halfway across the planet and the packaging gets just totally destroyed and the product inside is fine. This one, just the packaging is actually in really good shape, but I think it may have came from California. So might have been in a container with all of its friends. And then it got separated off in a distribution center. Okay, so this packaging is maybe not so good. So it's just like, there it is.
Probably didn't quite such a big box.
Spare parts. Ooh, look, another battery. Awesome.
There's 2,
What?
isn't there?
Are you kidding?
Oh,
That's awesome.
yeah.
That's really good.
So 3 batteries?
3 batteries? That's really awesome.
Yeah.
700 milliamp hours. You know what's nice about that?
What?
I can use, this has a 1,000 milliamp hour pack.
Oh,
The JJRC MO2, which by the way, my current favorite VTOL. This is awesome. Check the link below. We've got links to all this stuff, all intermingled at the bottom. Check it out. Looks like, so we got 3 total batteries. That's pretty awesome. My only issue is that I don't have a bunch of EC30 connections. So to parallel charge those is gonna be a bit of a pain for me. It does come with a charger. Looks like it just plugs into the balance port. If you guys aren't familiar with the way this works, this is a balance port, of course, and then this is the main discharge. So you notice the leads are really similar in size. But as you get up to a bigger battery, like this 6S here is an example, the discharge lead is much bigger. And then the balance leads are very small. Of course, this being a smart pack, 5,000 milliamp 6S, it self-balances. And so you can charge it in many different ways. What I'd like to do is I'd like to get myself some XT30 adapters so that I can build some sort of a parallel charger for those. Comes with a spare blade set. These blades have a little rounded edge on them. And then it's got an angle here. That's a little bit different. It's got an airfoil to it as well. So this is a true collective pitch fly barless system. So there's no fly bar up here. We do need to tighten that. Don't let me forget. In fact, while we're thinking about it, I had one of my wonderful viewers insisted. He was like, you need this tool set. And he just wouldn't take no for an answer. So finally I got connected with him and so he sent me these things. So this is the first time I'm breaking it open. And I told him I wouldn't use his name because he was all modest about it and didn't want me to use his name because he was, I don't know, embarrassed or something. But I thought it was really nice. But look at this, guys. Oh, are you kidding me? First try, that's pretty awesome. These are nice, actually, really nice. Wow. So look at that. So it's got this spinny thing on the back. And so you can, these are made in Germany, so they're really high quality. I had this brand when I was going to college. We used screwdrivers that were just like this. So these, of course, are hex drive tips, and they're really nice. So those are metric.
you don't still have them from college?
I actually do, but a few of them broke.
You have everything else from college?
Are you talking about my textbooks?
Maybe.
I do refer to them all the time.
As in never.
Oh, that's true. So I over tightened that, guys. You want this to be able to spin out of the way. I torqued it down like
But
crazy.
you don't want it to fall out.
You don't want it to fall out. You see how it's a little bit loose there? You kind of want that to be tight, but not so that it's going to loosen. Okay. See that, how it goes in and out a little bit? That's normal. See how that goes in and out a little bit? That's normal. Okay, very cool. thank you. You know who you are. Those are awesome. We also got an extra gear set here. Looks like the main gear. And then, oh, interestingly enough, look at this.
Is that it?
That's a T, like really small. Look at this. That's a T. It's got to be like a T1 or 2, like a Torx. That is so cool. I wonder what that goes to. Oh, look at that. That's for these. Those aren't Phillips. No, those are Phillips. So which one does it go to? There's got to be a set somewhere where you need this. That's really cool. I wonder if they sent me the wrong tip on that, because that does not look like a Phillips bit, and it is not. That definitely doesn't fit there. Where the heck does it fit? Oh, maybe it goes here, guys. Look. Wow. That's not it either. It did come with a Phillips bit, one of the world's smallest Chinese Phillips bits. Definitely works. It's got the hex drive on the back. I suppose you could put that into a socket or something like that. Comes with an extra tail blade, which is nice. Those you actually once in a while need. If you need maiden rotors too often, then you're doing crazy things more than I do. And it does come with a little factory tool to take care of adjusting these. Does that fit? Yeah, just real tight.
Barely.
Okay, it goes. So anyway, there you have it. Obviously we have an EC30, or I'm sorry, an XT30 on there. There's caps that are separate. Gosh.
Don't lose them on your counter.
See, just a little cap like that. So I'm actually gonna remove those right now. I think they're mostly just for looks. Goodness gracious, they're hard to control. I wanna show you what it looks like underneath here. Looks like a carbon fiber boom. It's really sturdy. Like that thing is unbendable, jeez. I'm sure
In what?
Unbendable.
Oh, unbendable.
Unbendable.
I don't think that's a word.
It is.
Unbendable.
Unbendable.
No.
Unbendable?
People will tell us.
People on YouTube, please correct me. See,
Don't
now that I've asked.
I'm just saying they will.
Okay, so let's look at this. You know what we need to be doing right now?
Charging a battery.
There's your receiver. You know what that looks like?
What?
An FR Sky receiver.
That's totally what I was thinking. What's that?
It's just a protocol.
Oh.
So then there's a stabilizer, probably in this. And flight controller, there's your bind button. Of course, it's not energized, so I can press that. Some extra ports for flaps and LEDs. Just kidding, guys. Just kidding. No flaps on a helicopter. You can't actually have flaps, but it's probably not in this environment. That is such a weird output for the motor. Do you see that?
What?
They actually, they thought this through well. They got a 90-degree angle on that port that comes off of there. That goes to the main. Actually, you know what? That goes to the rear one, I think. So the main one, where does the main one plug in? Right here, probably? That goes to an ESC as well. Where does it plug in? There it is. There's the main leads. See that? So this middle board is your ESC board for the main, and then this little one is the one that goes to the tail. So pretty cool stuff. As usual, you're seeing this after the maiden flight and any crashes that befall me. I'm sure there'll be at least one with this thing because it looks pretty capable. So my next step is I've got to get this balance charge set up. So let's go ahead and talk about that for a minute. Obviously we need a battery so we can fly this thing. So the easiest way to do this is I've got some power supplies here, so we'll just turn this thing on. This is a Spectrum 30 amp power supply. It's something we got when we started upgrading to this smart gear. So of course that's not what we're after showing, but they have 5 volts at 1 amp. So you got a red light that comes on. You're gonna have to go up higher there. See? Okay, then we'll just go ahead and take the batteries. We'll get one of these plugged in. Okay, so it's got a green light that flashes. You wanna show the people there? Mm-hmm. Okay, good job. And then what we can do is we'll move these glasses kind of out of the way for now. And the other two, I'll show you what I would do if I was gonna charge it on a more sophisticated charger, which most of you guys that do this are gonna be plugging into whatever conventional charger you use. There's nothing magical about this, but I've built some different adapters and I've got these balance boards like this. But what I'm gonna be doing for this one is one particular cord I have in mind. I had to kind of improvise at the time because I didn't have any other batteries at all that had XT30s. So I had to build just something like this. So it wasn't anything too particularly fancy. And I just have adapters that go to and fro. And then that's what I use to charge these little ones. So this is going to allow me, of course, the better way would be to have a proper XT30 connection. And then this will plug into the balance port. And then you can see the data. And yes, this does tell you internal resistance. I had somebody asking me the other day. So if I was just going to click here. And then see it says 3.9, so that's pretty good. So I'll click in here and then I'll set the current. I don't want to do 3 amps, that's a little bit fast for 700 milliamp pack. Well, we'll stop that. We'll change this. The camera crew is kind of taking the spot where I would normally stand, so I'm kind of doing this at a weird angle. So we'll do 1.4 amps. Nah, we'll just go to 0.7. 0.7 amps is what you should charge it at, and I'll hit start. So now this is going to start charging, and over the first few seconds, you'll see it come up. It says it's at 0.7 amps now, and then it's going to give you a milliamp hour count. And then that'll give you the internal resistance as you're charging. So you can kind of see how horrible the cells are going to balance out. So obviously, since this came with 3 batteries, we're going to have to set up to charge a 3rd battery, but I don't have a 2nd or 3rd adapter right now. So what I might do is if I dig into my bag of tricks down here, I'm sure I've probably got another feasible solution, like one of these. See, this is what happens when you do reviews on radio-controlled airplanes and whatnot. See, I've got this little 2S charger here. So I can plug that in and it'll charge it through the balance port, just like this one's going to charge. And this one happens to be 5 volts at 0.5 through 2.5 amps input. And that's going to put 2,000 milliamp hours out. That's pretty good. So I'm okay with that. I think we'll do that for the other one. So we'll turn on another power supply. Actually, you know what? I'll just plug it in down here because I can reach. And I'm going to just charge it on this one. So that's got a little red flashing light. The key is you don't want to charge a 700 milliamp hour LiPo way fast. You don't want to go at like 3 amps. That's just too much. Because that would be about, 3 times what the speed is. It's what 2.1 amps would be 3 times.
Yeah.
So you don't want to go too crazy on it. But you don't want to wait around forever to have them charged.
It's just a good thing that you have like 15.
I have 15 different options, and that's just the way I like to have it. I have a backup for my backup and then a backup on top of that. So this one will charge clearly the fastest. And we have the milliamp hour count. I suppose we could also charge on any one of these. We got the S1100. So there's just a million different charging methods. For now, we're going to take a second cleanup and then we'll start digging into the radio. Well, actually, let's look at what we need for batteries quick. One thing that you don't get in the ready-to-fly stuff from China is you'll almost never get the AA's, and I think it's just a weight thing. If you were in China or in Asia, you'd probably get them with the airplane or the helicopter. I think it's just a customs thing. It gets expensive to transport, like a $2 battery, through customs, so they just eliminate it. The weird thing is about this particular item is that we got 3 of these batteries. And typically when you get a LiPo will be hidden in your transmitter. And so you'll have to open the transmitter to find those. And what they do is they call that an integral battery then. And so they get around some of the international treaties and laws about shipping LiPo batteries. So you'll notice this package didn't have a LiPo safety warning.
I don't think
there wasn't one on it. So I don't know, maybe it's below the capacity level for this size of package. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and get 4 AA's and we'll come right back. All right, guys. So as I was mentioning earlier, this Eachine transmitter, this is a JJRC transmitter. They look identical, so mark them. The difference is this one goes to the VTOL that we were talking about, the MO2. So when you look at that, and by the way, I got links to all this stuff. Obviously, you can buy this thing. We got links right at the top of the description. We have links for the MO2. We have links for like a lot of those chargers and stuff like this. But for the sake of argument, I just want you to see that they're very, very, very similar. This one's got a little bit different control setup. So it's got like a 3-position switch here, and this has a 2-position. But you'll notice that these Chinese brands all kind of use interchangeable gear like that. So just definitely do yourself a favor and mark it. And we're gonna, without further ado, go ahead and put in the AA batteries. Some of this stuff is a little bit redundant. You guys have seen it before. You've seen it once, you've seen it a million times. It's all the same thing.
But with the marking them, like our son flies, and so then
yeah,
he doesn't always know which.
So if I'm out
which.
flying with my transmitter, then he can fly with one of these transmitters, or we can both fly them, which is actually really nice. It's a little overwhelming when you start getting like 30, 40 of them.
Yeah.
So, okay, power. You press it and it turns on. It's got a nice big display. Shows the percentages of output, which is really nice. You can wake it up with any button. The display has a backlight. Backlight shuts off quick. That's kind of annoying. High, low rate. I don't like that that shuts off like that. Shows you your high and low rate. 6G, 3D. This is the flight mode and gear switch. So that's another one that's going between the 2 different modes. And then of course the throttle hold. So throttle hold is going to stop your throttle output. See how it's on now? See how it's changing as I move the throttle stick? Whoa, they must have a crazy mix, because look at that, we're at 85% already, and then it doesn't change. So all that stuff can be found in the setup. And I'm not sure exactly how to get in. I'll see if I can figure it out real quick. Okay, there we go. So you can reverse here. You can do dual rates or expo. And then you can do throttle curve. And you can do pitch curve. And then the gyro setting. And if you go between these two, you see how that changes? Gosh, that's a really annoying.
We can see it when it's off, but it is fast.
See that? It goes from 75 to 25. So that's 75. That's 25. So obviously at 75, the 6G is like more locked in, more solid, more stabilization. And then there's a high-low rate. So usually you can see that in dual rates. Swash type, sub trim, reverse. Okay, and then we're back all the way through. So it just basically circles through your settings. Okay, so throttle curve versus pitch curve. Okay, so let's go into throttle curve. All right, so you can see, oh shoot, I exited. Was I holding this one? Yeah, there you go. Okay, so throttle curve. I'm gonna go throttle curve. There you go, so there's your position. So 0 is gonna be 0. Whoops. Dang it. Press the wrong button. See, it goes to 85 at 2. Then at 3 it's 85, 4 it's 85, and 5 it's 85. So that means like from 0 to the first 20, this is 5 parts. So whatever 100 divided by 5 would be. So this is 0, this is 100. So that would be like 20, then 40, then 60, then 80, then 100, okay? So at 20, it's at 85. And anywhere from 0 to 20, it does the proportional difference from 0 to 85, okay? So like halfway between 0 and 20, so like 10% it should be, the output would be, what is that, like 43 and a half or whatever,
Yeah.
42 and a half rather. So at the very full stick position, you're gonna be at 85, okay? So does that make sense? I hope it does. So throttle curve, and pitch curve is the other way. So obviously you control 2 things on a collective pitch helicopter. You change the pitch of the blades and you change the speed by which the motor is running. And then this thing helps to counter the torque effect as this thing spins. And that torque effect is countered increasingly as you increase the throttle. So this is also going to work with the 3D 6G system, which is the stabilizer system. and the stabilizer is going to help. Like if you have wind push here, it's going to push against it, and so on and so forth. And it can tell the difference because it knows when you're giving an input, and then it responds accordingly. Another thing too is you can pull these things out on these JJRC style Eachine, XK, whatever brand. You can pull these things out and you can tighten that screw in there, okay? So like this feels really like sloppy to me. So did we already put away that screw?
Yes, maybe
Okay.
that's what it was for.
Well, no, that's just a Phillips screwdriver, but we can use the Phillips screwdriver. We looked in the manual and it wasn't supposed to come with the little Torx bit, but it's like, it might be just like a T5 bit. It's really small. But if you don't like that, like if you want this to have more resistance, then you can tighten this screw, and that's actually going to bite down. That's sometimes a little bit challenging to get in there. See, I'm going to tighten this like real tight. See, that just made it so it like falls down. Okay, so now I evidently need to loosen it to get what I want out of it. It's kind of an awkward spot in there. So I'm going to loosen it. And that's how you can adjust. See how it's kind of springing back now? Hear that noise? Mm-hmm. So that must mean I'm all the way out. Whoops. That's your trim adjustment. So now you've got that. And of course, if you're ever really curious, you can take the whole thing apart in a matter of minutes. Are we beeping because we're done? Oh, look, show the people. We switched over to this S1100 from the S2100 just because it's got this status bar on it, which is really nice. Right there. See it? Mm-hmm. So that means that this one is charged. So we can go ahead and stop that one. It's a fast charge is done. So it put 101 more milliamp hours in there. So we'll just unplug this and we can switch over. These chargers that you get with these helicopters are usually they're just enough to get you by. Okay. They're part of a ready to fly setup. So don't expect the sun, moon, and stars because it's not going to give you the sun, moon, and stars. It's going to charge your battery a few times. So, but most of you guys that are getting into this level of helicopter, is it going to be your first helicopter? I don't know, maybe. I'll show you what it looks like when you plug this in. So you plug it in, it gives you the voltage right away. And then when you plug in your balance charger, whoops, then it's going to give you your balance. Oops, I was on cell 2. I didn't line it up right. Now I lined it up right. So I can start this. This is not a smart pack, so obviously it's just going to charge and give you a status bar here and show the people how it's hooked up there. Got the balance plug, and then this just goes out. Okay, so nothing fancy there. Just want to show you what I'm doing. Currently, we're using the USB charger for this battery. I expect this one to take upwards of an hour, maybe an hour and a half the first time. But we're going to have multiple batteries now to work with, which is really nice.
Hey,
and
I think it says somewhere on the box about like a 90-minute charge time the first time or something. It's on like the bottom or something. Right there, attention.
Yeah, it takes about 90 minutes for the product to charge up. Do not leave product charging unattended. Yeah, and that's true. Just a quick second for LiPo safety. 2 things, maybe 3 things with the helicopter that are going to get you hurt in this hobby. 1, don't run into your face. That's bad. Don't run into other people's face. That's bad. Don't cut your hand. Use the provided throttle cut. Get used to it. Do it on every single aircraft you have. If it's available, use it because it's very easy. You're going to think it's no big deal. I'm never going to do that, and you're going to do it immediately and cut yourself. So be careful. So the other thing is LiPos. LiPos are lithium polymer packs. They store a lot of energy for the size of this battery, and they will discharge extremely fast. And so the chemistry is such that if you pierce this, it will basically create a little gas plume, and then it will catch on fire really quick. It's really exciting, but I wouldn't recommend trying it. There's safe disposal methods for these. Check your local laws for that. I don't even want to tell you how to do it. I usually just drive a nail through it with safety glasses and like oven mittens on. but I haven't had to
Outside.
safely dispose of a battery in a long time.
No.
Usually that happens after you have a bad crash and you know it's questionable. But don't put these in the garbage can. The problem is you might catch your garbage truck on fire because you throw this in there. So you do need to be a little bit careful about this. Those are the two things that hurt people in this hobby. Generally speaking, people don't get hurt in this hobby. That's why it's around. So just do your part, be careful. Then also in terms of regulatory things, if it's below 250 grams and it's capable of sustained flight, no matter what it doesn't need to be registered with the FAA. If it's over 250 grams, that means all up weight, including the battery and the rest of the aircraft, then you have to post your FAA number and follow the rules. So just look into it yourself because I'm not a rule keeper. I'm not the rule police. So that being said, this thing's gonna keep charging. We wanna be around. What they mean by don't leave them unattended is like, don't plug this in and go to dinner, okay? At a restaurant somewhere. Just plug it in and you're supposed to be quarantined anyway. So just stay there and watch it
Dinner
charge.
anyway.
Don't do anything else. Just sit there and stare at it or film videos. Either way, it's fine with me. And be careful. Generally speaking, if they get puffy or they're hot, like really hot, unplug it, take it outside, put it on the concrete, and then just like leave it for a few hours. Let the chemistry calm down and you'll be surprised. If it does that, generally it's a good idea to get rid of it. All right, moving back to the planned event here, which is to get this thing set up. I'm actually just gonna not mess with any of the settings. So I'm just gonna walk out of the menu. Okay, so once it stops flashing, you should be good. Make sure when you move the sticks, you can see the change. This is a mode 2. So mode 2 means this is the rudder, or in this case, that would be the tail. Then this would be pitch forward. So it's gonna fly forward and then pitch back. And then this is gonna roll left and roll right. And then of course this is throttle and of course pitch, because the pitch and throttle work together to produce lift. And when you're in idle up mode, that means that the speed of the motor is generally gonna be up to full speed. And so then you can fly upside down and do these things. Of course, I'm not a really great helicopter pilot, so I don't do a lot of upside down flight. Usually my upside down flights end in a crash. So I mean, it's flying upside down for a few seconds before it hits the ground. But there's a lot of guys that are very good pilots and they can fly really, really well upside down.
It's always a comforting sound.
So in Banggood fashion, I'm a little bit concerned about that noise. I'm wondering what's going on. So everything feels like it's intact, but I don't want to be surprised. I think we're just going to be surprised for your sake because this is a review video. And that little rubber thing that I pulled out to tighten that screw is just kind of being a pain. There we go. I was feeling that with my middle finger as I was moving these sticks around. There's definitely something moving around in there.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. Maybe it's another battery. Pretty sure it's not another battery.
Maybe it's an extra piece of plastic that won't matter.
I'm thinking so, probably. So there is a manual. It tells you how to set everything up, but I'm gonna just not do anything with the manual. I'm just gonna ignore it. And we're gonna see how hard it is to get this thing to fly. And we'll just make sure that we protect ourselves. So obviously there's a spot where you can slide the battery in, show the people. Yeah, it's a nice little fit. Okay, so normally you'd have your body on it. Holds nicely. Okay, got a good resistance on there. You wanna make sure your leads don't get into this gear, which would be bad. So I'm not gonna have any alarm. I don't think there's any timer on this. There's obviously no telemetry, so you're not gonna necessarily know. There's no telemetry on this. You might be able to get telemetry on a jumper or something like that, but I don't go into all that. That's not my thing. So we're gonna put this back on. Now that you've kind of seen how it goes together, we can reassemble this. I've never seen those little triangular caps.
Really?
But there again, I don't get into this size class very often. Usually the helicopters I get are really small.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, bigger aircraft are a little bit easier to fly because they behave a little bit, they just lumber more, they're slower, they're a little bit easier to control. But I'm not sure what to expect from this one because it looks like it's a plenty capable heli. And I'm actually really hoping it flies good.
In my living room?
Well, I mean, I assumed that we would start in the living room. If it's scary, then we'll go outside and crash it for the people out there.
Okay.
But if it's not, like if it's fine, then we'll just fly it in here for a second, then we can go outside, because it looks like it's pretty calm.
Yeah, it's not bad at all.
I'm sure this helicopter is plenty capable. It would fly in some wind, but we just happen to have reasonably good weather today. It's a little bit toasty. Actually, it's not too bad. It's like 80. Okay, so we have everything set up there. The throttle cut's on. We're just going to validate that that's correct. There's like idle up mode here, and you can kind of tell because throttle cut's off. So if you go to idle up mode, you see how it's at 90? So it's at 90, and then when you go down to 0, it's going to drop down to, generally, there's going to be like a spot kind of at the bottom where it goes to 0. See how it's at 0? That's going to shut off the throttle. So that's idle up. So that's, you don't want to be in idle up mode because it's going to spin up your prop right away. So throttle cuts on, or throttle hold is what they call it in a helicopter. There is a small little spot where this wire is held for you. That's kind of nice. I don't know if that's really by design or if that's just a happy accident. I'm going for happy accident. Just going to plug this in. This is where you want to be careful, camera crew, just in case something goes horribly wrong. Okay, so now that we heard the song, I'm not sure if you guys could hear that because we have the lapel mics on, but we heard the beep, 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 something, I don't know, it's like that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna move my control surfaces, and if you can kind of move this to where you wanna see it. You can see how it's tipping things forward and backward on the swash plate. And then sometimes you can move this. You wanna make sure with your throttle cut on that doesn't run, okay? So this is the throttle hold. So I'm going to go to the end of the counter, just for safety reasons. We're gonna see how this does. Throttle cuts off or throttle holds off. We just, oh yeah, there we go. Nice and stable. A little bit of vibration on the tail, but it looks generally stable. That's always good. Okay, that's just a little bit scary. We're probably gonna go outside for this one because it's just big enough that I don't really want to put a hole in my countertop. So we'll be right back. Okay, so we're gonna fly the Eachine E160, which has the 3D 6G stabilization system. It's a little bit bigger heli than I'm used to. It's got brushless motors on the tail and the main rotor, and we're just really excited. It's actually, I believe it's got Metal Gear servos on all 3 servos, which is pretty exciting stuff. And we're gonna do it right now, guys. Throttle cuts off, and here we go. Letting it spin up. I need you back just a step. There you go. Okay, letting it spin up. Okay, into the throttle. Well, that's pretty good so far. Looks like probably a little bit of trimming needed. Very good yaw rate. Guys, I haven't messed with any of the settings at all. Oh, that thing looks good. The only thing I've done so far is basically reattached one of the rotor blades. Was detached. Not detached, but just the screw was loose. Okay, I don't feel like maybe I've got quite as much input as I would like on the roll axis because the wind is pushing me around. But it's definitely doable. I believe I'm in high rates. Let's go to low rates. Always kind of hard to tell on these Eachine transmitters which one is which. Okay, so we'll just bring it in for a relatively close shot here. Man, this thing is just beautiful. It sounds cool. A little bit touchy on the throttle side of things. The 6G is working really good. See if I can get it down to the ground here without any trouble. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and go to idle up mode here in 6G. We'll see if that does anything. You'll wanna be back just a little bit there in case something goes haywire. Okay, so this is idle up. Oh wait, was I in idle up? Okay, so it's just kind of coming up to speed here. Okay, so there's up, there's down. Yeah, this is definitely idle up. So what that means is that I actually can produce downward thrust or upward thrust. So let's show the people up and down. There's up, geez, there's down. There's full up, there's full down, full up, Full down? Jeez, that's crazy, guys. I am definitely not a heli enough pilot for that crap. I can't imagine how you could break something like this. The yaw is crazy fast. That's like 20%. For me, that's a lot, guys. Okay, I'm coming out of idle up mode so I don't crash it immediately, because I'd like this thing to survive for more than at least 2 minutes of flight. I have 3 batteries almost charged. Very good pitch authority. Just got to move the stick over. Man, this thing is like way set up nicer than the last one. You remember how I crashed the last one?
Yeah, I do. Was that an Eachine?
It wasn't an Eachine. I think it was an XK.
An XK?
But it was, you know, same thing.
Well, I know.
This thing looks really good.
It's
Guys,
really
I'm going to do
small.
some really elementary maneuvers here. And you're going to be like, wow, that guy like knows how to fly. Not. Just kidding, guys. This thing would fly upside down so good. I just wish I was a little bit better pilot. And now this is where people are like, oh, you can do it, Brian. Yeah, I don't know about all that. I don't know if I really have any interest in being some phenomenal,
I don't know.
crazy.
You have a lot of free time.
That's true, I do. There's my full pitch in 6G. Okay, coming around this way. There's full pitch. Whoa, geez. It started tipping down a lot. Okay, I'm gonna go up a few mistakes high. I'm gonna go back to collective pitch, or not collective, to idle up. Transitions fast, that's nice. I just can't believe how fast you can go up and down. That's like freaky, scary stuff. How's the video, you suppose? Is it
I'm not sure.
picking up anything today?
That thing is really teeny.
That's what she said.
I never said that. Just about the helicopter. It's like trying to videotape bugs or something.
You know what? There's quite a few bugs out there.
There's quite a few butterflies.
I know, which is
crazy.
cool. That bird, do you see that bird?
Yep.
The bird's like, get out of my zone, buddy. This will freak it out. So the 6G mode, in conclusion so far, and when I say conclusion, I don't know how much longer this thing is gonna fly. I would say it's doing really good. Okay, I went out of the idle up here. Man, those servos stand out like a sore thumb.
What?
The servos are red. You can see them really good. Can't you see the red servos right now?
Is that a problem?
No, it's just interesting.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say.
Just an observation. It's not a bad thing or a good thing.
Okay.
Just kind of is what it is kind of thing. All right, I want to do a little bit of closer quarters flying, but you just need to be able to protect yourself there, camera crew.
Great.
Yeah, I know. Just don't jump out of the way into me and then we both jump at each other.
Okay. Well, I'm wearing your glasses, so don't hit me.
You've got the happy glasses
I
on.
do. They're actually. I'm not sure.
Hold on, I have to check for manned aircraft. Where the heck are they? They might be crop dusting over there.
Way
So
back over the back.
we just need to be a little bit mindful of that in case they're crop dusting. Obviously, I'm like below 10 feet, so, you know, that means we should probably call the FAA and get clearance to fly on our own property. That would kind of be annoying if they came and crop dusted today without our blessing for no reason. Kind of disappears against that backdrop is my concern.
It kind of does. But it kind of disappears in the sun over here.
I know, sorry. I love the way it's flying. It's actually quite easy to fly right now.
Yeah, I'm like fairly impressed.
You mean because I haven't crashed it yet?
Yeah.
I'm wondering if I'm like losing throttle because, yeah, oh yeah, losing throttle. Okay, there we go.
Okay.
So we're out. Camera crew, can you tell how long that was? Throttle cuts on.
Maybe 6 minutes? Maybe.
Small, but lasted a long time.
Well.
If 6 minutes is a long time. So we're gonna try another battery next. All right, folks, so I just wanted to show you guys switching batteries because sometimes switching batteries on helis is like really bad. Here, camera crew, grab it. Not too bad.
No.
It's not cold, but it's not hot. Like,
Hot out here.
it's not really that bad out, you know. It's like 80.
That's bad.
It's been worse.
Still bad.
Okay, so we'll get this thing plugged in. Okay, we'll lay it down flat, let the 6G get all worked out. Okay, so it should be ready to rock and roll. I'm just gonna move the control surfaces and then we'll go ahead and fly that direction. So throttle cuts off, or throttle hold is off. Sorry, trying to use the right helicopter terminology. It's not quite as scary as our, so this is, I've been flying this for one flight now, so I'm comfortable enough to fly it that close to us. I mean, I'm like right here, guys, and I feel totally comfortable with it. If I was a more skilled heli pilot, I'd be doing all sorts of cool things, but I'm not, so you get what you get. I can tell you this right now, it's very reasonably easy to fly. I haven't fiddled with any of the controls. That's something that's new for us. It looks really good. Let's go fly down by the trees, hon. Okay, so we're gonna walk. We're gonna take our helicopter for a walk. We always do helicopter walks on this channel, you know, so we're just gonna walk over by the bug zapper, and then we're gonna go down here and we'll just kind of see what we can find out here. I have not come out of 6G mode just because this is a fairly capable helicopter. I don't really want to crash it right now. And it looks really cool. Quite a bit of wind coming up this hill, by the way. I don't know if you guys can tell that. We'll just come down here. We had a little bit of rain, so hopefully it's not super juicy down here. But let's come out here and fly over the waterway. What do you think of that, camera crew?
Okay.
The transmitter, the little crackly sounds in there are a little bit disconcerting, but so far I haven't noticed it do anything crazy, like crashing in the middle of a giant pit. Oh, that's cool. Just flying in nature here. Man, this whole place is just crazy. Look how much crap is going on down here.
Like literally
You can't even see the creek. I really hope I don't crash because then I'd have to go get it.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was thinking.
Or I could just order another one.
It'd probably be easier.
It'd be easier.
Take less time. Maybe we could go up in the shade.
What? No, I want to fly by the waterfall real quick. While the bugs are still reasonable.
See the waterfall.
Huh?
Can't even see the waterfall.
Right now?
Yeah.
You don't think so? Look at this. There's probably some birds that are gonna be like scared to death right now. I don't really mean to scare them.
I'm not walking all the way up there.
Oh, by the waterfall?
No.
Oh, really? Well, as you can see, it flies really good.
Yeah.
So you want to go back in the shade and see if we can get this actually in camera?
Yeah, like behind, just right behind the house, between the house
Okay.
and the coop.
We'll try it. As you can see, I'm not an expert and it's flying just fine.
Mm-hmm.
I think I could probably balance. There's a little bit of vibration. Oh yeah, in and out of the light. I hope the camera picks up on that. Looks really cool up there.
Mm-hmm, it does.
Okay, so what I want to do is, I want to go, I want to see about going out of 6G mode, but I'm actually quite nervous about doing it. So why don't we go over here and do it? That way when we crash, it'll be just like before. So all the things you're not supposed to do when you're flying aircraft is like walking around. So we do that every time almost. And flying in and around power lines, of course we do that because they're like at our house. And is there any hospitals around?
Nope.
Okay. What about manned aircraft? We actually follow that one.
Yeah.
It's actually quite easy to control. Ooh, manned aircraft. That is totally a crop duster because he's really low. I don't know if those guys can hear it on our lapel mics.
He's way back past the back though.
You think so?
Well, he has been.
Okay. All right, so we're gonna fly up here. We're gonna land it. So as you can see, I don't know if that's high rate or low rate, but you can look at this. There you go. So high rate is down here. So the bottom is high rate. So I'm gonna go to high rate. I'll take back off. I'm gonna switch it to 3D from 6G. 6G is like your automatic leveling and everything. So this is where you duck, okay? Yeah, we're not gonna do that anymore. I'm not a very good heli pilot. Okay, well that didn't take long. It didn't switch back to 6G mode. I've had this happen once before, except the last time it happened, it was way up in the air. So we'll see if we're still good. These things take a licking and keep on ticking. So throttle holds off, everything's moving. So those Metal Gear servos obviously worked. So we'll just bring this back. I have to crash at least once in a heli video. Oh yeah, there we go.
So now you're back in the 6G?
I'm back in 6G.
Okay.
So note to self, if you're trying to fly this thing in 3D out of 6G, give it a second to come back before you try to take off. That was my mistake there, is I didn't give it a second to respond. I just kind of assumed it was going to be like an instantaneous response, and it was not that. I do feel bad though, because like this thing is going to be a crazy, awesome, insane acrobatic creature, and I am just not a skilled enough pilot to show that. I mean, I'm just lucky to fly it around like an airplane, and I love doing it, by the way. The landings have been like really easy.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts, camera crew?
I think it looks really good, just having seen you fly other helicopters and knowing your skill level.
You mean like not crashing into us?
Right.
Or the house yet?
Yeah, I mean, helicopters aren't your thing. We know
Well,
that.
not generally. I mean, I know how to fly them.
Well, I know, and you
Would
like
you-
them, but
Yeah, we're good still.
okay.
He must be way back there.
Yeah.
And by the way, that is probably the air tractor. So
Yeah.
they've been flying around a yellow air tractor, which is pretty awesome because I just reviewed a yellow air tractor not too long ago. Oh, there's your low voltage cutoff. It pretty much just starts cutting the throttle. You don't get a lot of warning. Throttle cut or throttle hold is on. So when it decides to run out of power, you're pretty much out of power. Okay, thoughts. We crashed this one. Everything was fine. Glasses are awesome. As you can see, I'm not having any problems. It's very bright right now. Show the people at home.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah, it'll be horrible for
Yep,
exposure.
Sorry.
But basically, the thing I like about these is I wear them, and then as the sun goes down and we go below these trees, I don't even need to take them off my face, which is really nice. This helicopter is great in that it comes with 3 batteries. That's really nice because we got, what, about 6 minutes of flight time?
Yeah.
That's not bad on a small helicopter like this. You're gonna get about that flight time, but if you can get it with 3 batteries, I will obviously link to that choice. Sometimes they're offering them with less, but I'm just gonna link to the one that we got. The little shaky, I don't know what that is. I really don't care. It's not that big a deal. These transmitters are a dime a dozen. I've got 100 of them. I could just bind it to another one. And by the way, if you want to rebind this, all you have to do is pop off this cover. We already went through how to do that, super easy. And then obviously these servos are not damaged at all. The Metal Gear servos are better and very nice. So really happy with that. No damage whatsoever from that tip over. Any other thoughts?
I'm impressed for a small helicopter. I think it's got a lot of good features.
And maybe it's a little bit easier to fly just because it's slightly bigger than some that we've reviewed in the past. Because you get into like, you know, the more scale looking ones and you're gonna basically have a harder time flying. And if you get into the really small ones, they're well tuned, but they're definitely more challenging to fly. Yeah. So, and we didn't even fiddle with the expo or rates or anything. So with some fiddling, you could really tune this thing in to be your baby. That's, I think, all we've got for this one. Check the link in the description. Really cool heli, real reasonable price for what you're getting, especially with brushless motors front and back, and ready to fly, less the 4 AA's, something you've come to expect from the Chinese brands, not really a surprise. But what's that cost at like $5 here in the United States? So it's not that big a deal. You can get the cheap ones like we do for like $1.
Yeah. So
I think we spent $10 for a 30 pack or something like that.
Yeah, they're cheap.
So anyway, I like it. It's good. Probably not a great indoor flyer unless you're a super good pilot and you don't mind fixing your cabinets and things like that. Funny story. First time I flew a helicopter inside our house. This is well before the YouTube channel. How many years before?
Was that?
That would have been like at least 5 years before that.
When I was still teaching?
Yeah.
That incident? Yeah.
So the first time I crashed a helicopter was in a cabinet door and I blew up the prop. Yep. And it was awesome. But it's okay because then that was back when they made them out of balsa wood and they wrapped them in plastic. And that was a CP1. And yes, I never did learn to fly that thing.
Nope.
In case you were wondering. I still have it, technically. Wait, maybe I gave it to Esteban, my cameo.
You did when we moved.
That'd been awesome. I'm so glad it's gone.
I hope you did.
Either
Sorry,
way,
Esteban. This
thing is 10 times the helicopter that thing was.
Absolutely.
And yes, it comes with some spare parts and things like that, but look how nice the mechanism is. Mm-hmm. It's all like CNC machined aluminum and or, I don't know, it looks like it might actually be better than aluminum. Look how nice that looks.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah. All right.
I like it.
That's all you get, YouTube. Buy one.